Hi, it's Paul. Welcome to another unknown case. This one is a large volume pleural fluid received from a 79-year-old male, and the request form indicated lung cancer. So what are you thinking about this? The features really were that it was kind of moderately cellular. There were definitely lymphocytes, macrophages, and mesothelial cells in the background. Also, there's a population of atypical cells that were pretty much dispersed with a few loose-looking groups. There's occasional large cell with a large nucleus that sort of drew your attention. The cells themselves tended to be kind of plasmacytoid with an oval shape and usually an eccentric nucleus, and they had a kind of moderate amount really of nondescript cytoplasm is what I'd say. There was really no obvious microvillus borders or intracellular windows, and so for me the cells really failed that mesothelial test. The cytoplasm itself was actually fairly interesting and seemed varied. So in some places it seemed fairly dense and almost homogeneous, like down the bottom right of this image. In other places there were fine vacuoles, maybe that was degeneration, and in other areas there seemed to be larger cytoplasmic vacuoles, even like this cell, which is kind of doing an impression of a signet ring cell. Nuclei are pretty much round, oval. They had fairly pale chromatin, very prominent nucleoli, and bi and sometimes multinucleate forms were present. So in summary, there was kind of mixed messages here. This was probably best known as a poorly differentiated malignancy with a fairly wide differential diagnosis. Given the history, a poorly differentiated metastatic adenocarcinoma of lung is probably looking most likely, and certainly there are eccentric nuclei and some hints of at least of vacuolation that might suggest that. Well, there's certainly no really strong evidence in the form of glandular type arrangements. So the request form told us there was a history of lung cancer, and indeed when we looked on our internal files, there was about 2.5 years ago a report of metastatic lung carcinoma in a iliac fossa biopsy. It was TGF1 positive, and immunopanel was done on that for lung cancer. However, the patient also had, more recently, 8 months previous, a malignant melanoma, Clark level 5 with 3 mm thickness in the upper neck reported with perineural and lymphovascular invasion. We prepared a cell block. This is the H&Es, not a whole lot of outstanding cells present, certainly no groupings identified. There were cells that seemed larger with larger nuclei and prominent nucleoli. We performed epithelial markers on this, TTF1, VARIP4 and Claudin-4 were all negative. This is the SOX10 with a red chromogen. You can see it highlights scattered malignant cells throughout it. This is the pan-melanoma, once again highlighting malignant cells and particularly some big cells and some binucleate cells. Our mesothelial markers, CK5 and calretinin, really just showed occasional background mesothelial cells, nice little fried egg staining in this case with the calretinin. So these findings really were consistent with metastatic melanoma in pleural fluid. And I think it is a nice example highlighting the importance of immunohistochemistry and also clinical history in these cases. So I hope you enjoyed that case. Thanks for watching.